Ombuds office at UC Santa Barbara. You are about to spend some time with Miles Ashlock. He's an Associate Dean of Student Life and a longtime member of the campus community. And speaking of community, I was specifically interested in the work that Miles has been doing lately to run giant meetings with the Division of Student Affairs using the Zoom conference feature, and also his work that he's been doing for a long time pre-pandemic on a platform that has been branded as Shoreline, which is a place where faculty, staff, and students and some other community members can gather around all the student groups and all the student life and essentially community. So this is a quick visit with Miles on a Friday afternoon during the pandemic about community. Hello, Miles.
Hello.
Good to see you at even at a distance. Thank you for agreeing.
You too. Yeah.
Thanks for agreeing to spend some time with me. The main reason I wanted to talk with you today is about community. We're all distributed right now, and there's two examples of kind of community building that I've observed that you've been involved with. So I'd love to ask you, starting with the students. The students are here, and yet they're not here. And there's a platform called Shoreline that you worked very hard on over the summer that is up and running, or actually, I don't know when you brought it up, but it's up and running. Can you tell me about what you're learning about students connecting, even though they're far, far away?
Yeah. Well, really, when we launched Shoreline, it was over the previous summer in 2019, and when signs were pointing to shelter in place in late March and early April, we rushed to really build out that platform, which is both on the web and an app. And it's the place where all of our registered campus organizations, about 500, are registered. And those are just natural places where students can gather around common identities and interests, and really create a home away from home at UC Santa Barbara. So it's funny because normally a campus org is a place where a student goes within UCSB to feel at home. Now, I think a lot of campus orgs are becoming places that they congregate virtually to feel at UCSB. So it's the role might have reversed, but we're definitely seeing many clubs continue on. They're holding Zoom meetings, many of them organized events and publishing those, publicizing those through Shoreline. So we're seeing a lot of great digital activity and community.
Excellent. And Shoreline is not just for students, right? There's some staff presence out there as well.
That's right. All students, staff, and faculty have access to the platform. There are staff and faculty groups, in fact. Several departments have Shoreline groups, and there are a number of tools that can really help you, both from personal meeting scheduling to some administrative processes with nice advanced workflow features.
Excellent. Yeah, I was thinking about people who don't like to have a presence on wider social media like Facebook, and yet they want to connect to student groups. So this is a nice kind of walled garden for people to connect, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's really a UCSB only space. So the vast majority of our users, probably 99.9%, are logging in with UCSB NetID and password. And then we only let in select guest users who have some limited access on the platform, some outside advisors. We will ultimately be able to create alumni accounts, things like that. So it really is kind of a safe community space, and it's under our UCSB policies and guidelines as well. And you can customize all of your notification settings, all of your privacy settings. So it really can be a great, comfortable place for anyone.
I was playing with the email thing the other day, and it is like Constant Contact or Emma, things that people have paid a lot of money for on the campus. And it has a custom email engine with analytics, so you can see who opened your email and stuff. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that's right. It has a lot of bells and whistles. It can be a little overwhelming at first, but I can give anyone a private tour of Shoreline. I love helping people connect, their kind of needs and use case to the tool, and have done that successfully with a lot of groups and departments. And I think definitely everyone should know about the meeting scheduler tool, which serves in the place of something like Calendly. You don't have to pay anything to use it. It's already contracted and ready for you, and it can book appointments based on your up-to-date availability in your Google Calendar. So you just share a link, and there's no more back and forth emailing to set up a meeting with a student, for instance.
And you also said it's legit, right? It's been vetted by the
It's
mighty
totally
UC,
legit.
right?
It's FERPA approved. You can customize questions for your intake. You can even take notes in the system that you can view later.
Wow.
And I have a tutorial on the meeting scheduler, so I'll be sure to drop that link so you can share it in the description.
Great. Wow. Yeah, we're sort of going outside of my community scope for this call, but I can't resist knowing about these great new tools. Yeah. Miles, you put on a giant meeting, 2 giant meetings for student affairs now. There are professionals out there who sort of produce large meetings, and these professionals in this case were Miles Ashlock and Carrie Bradford from Student Affairs. Those meetings have gone really well. I've heard good feedback. I actually saw a post video of one of them. So you're building community on the scale of Corwin Pavilion or beyond using some tools. What have you learned from that experience, and what can you share with others who want to have larger meetings with either the students or with their entire division that feel like our community?
Yeah, that's great. There's a few things I want to say here. One is I really just want to give a nod to Student Affairs leadership, and particularly Vice Chancellor Margaret Clune, who one was willing to take the risk and try something new and big early on in this crisis. I think it was critical that we had this sort of outreach, but we didn't know how it was going to go. And so I really appreciate that. She also was just vulnerable and tender and real in that moment, and that helped to connect with a lot of people and be memorable. The second nod I want to give is to Alex Paraga and Matt Perko and that whole team that have worked on branding, because part of what made our webinar, I think, so successful and professional was being able to pivot off of that campus branding material. That made it just super easy.
Nice.
And then in ETS, we have access to some webinar licenses. That team has been super supportive. And the webinar platform really helps you avoid some of the concerns that you hear about Zoom bombing and meetings and things like that. So yeah, just a great kind of combination of great efforts by people. But again, risk-taking, the genuine nature of the sharing, openness to questions, and I think also, reflecting the true uncertainty of the situation all helped. And there has been, also a dose of optimism, and leadership has been really appreciative of all of the efforts that we've been making throughout our departments in student affairs to, meet the moment, as Gavin Newsom would say, right, creatively. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So a weekend is coming up. What are you doing to take care of yourself during these uncertain times?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely relax, and I want to get back into exercise. I tried to do that last weekend and injured myself, so I'm going to do a little bit more gingerly this
Very
weekend.
Good. Well, thank you for taking some time out of a busy Friday, and we will look forward to seeing you at one of your socially connecting events.
Awesome. Thanks, Don.